throughout the federal government with little forward progress. This led Senator Gillibrand and I to co-author the Havana Act of 2021 to support the victims who are not receiving care nor compensation. I have been frustrated over the past few years across both the Biden administration and the Trump administration by the excuses provided and misinterpretations of AHI attacks and the slow implementation of Senator Gillibrand's and my bill. Last week, Tulsi Gabbard rescinded 2 previous AHI intelligence community assessments and started to reassess both previous and new intelligence related to AHIs. It's critical that we know about possible foreign weapon capabilities and how to keep our hardworking personnel who are stationed in dangerous parts of the world safe from these dangerous attacks. But forward movement remains very slow. The DNI confirms, it's your job to confirm that intelligence is objective, timely, and independent of political considerations and based on all available sources. So with recent efforts to re-energize the research on the causes and attribution of these devastating attacks on our personnel, do you plan to continue these efforts?
Well, I'm not privy, but I certainly plan to engage with you and Senator Gillibrand on this issue, and I'm happy to do so.
I look forward to future discussions. There's a lot of history here. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Collins. No stronger leader on national security, not just on this committee, but your work on the HISGAC committee and especially the Appropriations Committee, like our friend Lindsey Graham. The troops and intelligence officers have no better friends than Senator Collins. Thank you for your work. Senator Wyden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Clayton, according to the press reports, the FBI director spent 8 hours last Friday at the White House investigating journalists. My view is this is a flagrant attack on journalists in the First Amendment under the direction, apparently, of the Trump administration. When were you directed to issue subpoenas to the journalists and by whom?
Senator, I believe you're referring to the reporting around the subpoenas relating to
the subpoenas you signed.
The subpoenas that I signed. Those subpoenas are in connection with an ongoing national security investigation. I'm happy to talk to you and this committee about our approach to the First Amendment and our efforts in all cases to limit, to the greatest extent possible, any intrusion into the operation of the free press. I'm absolutely committed to and respect our First Amendment and the role of the press.
So let me ask you this. It's not even clear that the subpoenas that you signed followed the administration's policy, which requires the government to first make all reasonable attempts to obtain information from other sources. What specific actions did you take before you signed the subpoenas?
I can tell you that in all of these cases, we, and not just one person, and this is the way I operate, I operate by asking my team, what do you think? Any action in this regard, you can be assured that it was a consultative exercise with the career prosecutors in my office.
So that's what you did beforehand to satisfy yourself that this was important to do, to send these journalists a subpoena and go to their house?
To issue the subpoenas, but let me say that this is, I don't want to get into this in too great a detail because it's inappropriate.
I don't want to get into details. I just want to find out what went on.
We followed the processes that we're required to follow.
Let me go to the question of elections. You've claimed in the past that vote by mail is tainted, and I haven't seen any evidence of this. These are your exact quotations. You talk about, dishonesty in mail-in voting, and at one point you talked specifically about a group that was doing it. I think it would be very helpful to get a sense of who you're talking about. You said, and I quote, "One group is using mail-in voting dishonestly." So you basically said you got a group out there who are election bandits. Who are we talking about?
Now, I would like to see where you're pulling those quotes from, because I've been very careful in my words on this. I've been very careful. Look, election integrity. I'd like to see the whole passage.
Send you the material.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy to answer. But let me tell you,
please.
That we should be. There are two parts to this. One is access, which is extremely important. Access to the ballot is something that I know this body, many people have worked hard for years and years. The other one is integrity. I'm a big believer that we can have better access than we've ever had before and better integrity than we've ever had before.
All right.
And some of the constructs around our election, the integrity can be greatly improved.
Well, I want to see it because I want to know the names of the people that you're calling dishonest, because I'm the nation's first senator elected by mail. The second senator was a Republican, and we don't believe that this is tainted by fraud. And I have time for one more question. You said that the country was well served by this agreement that Donald Trump is not going to get audited in terms of his taxes. You went through the whole process. Tell me if you continue to support that position, that you believe that the President of the United States should be the only person in the country who's exempt from audit.
I certainly do not believe that the President of the United States should be the only person in the country who is exempt from audit.
Do you think he should be exempt from audits? That's a yes or no question.
In terms of that specific thing, that's now a matter of litigation, and I'm not going to comment on it here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Moran.
Chairman, thank you. Mr. Clayton, thank you for your presence here today, your interest in serving the country. I appreciate the conversation we had in the office. I appreciate the relationship and conversations we had over the time in your past public service. In my office, I stressed to you a belief in the importance of our intelligence relationships around the globe, not just Five Eyes, but with many others. Over the past years, there have been reports in the press of allies withholding intelligence or us suspending intelligence sharing.